All right, so here is me doing the Monica Rappaccini build in Star Trek Online and explaining the logic behind why I put this together and how it actually works. For starters, this character kind of sort of does a theme build. I decided at one point, well, okay, the character is named after the AIM Scientist Supreme from Marvel Comics, so her having a supervillain motif, yeah, I mean, I kind of decided on that before creating the character at all. So, after creating the character, I decided to have her do a take on the anti-Captain Planet team, which was used to create Captain Pollution with the 5 elements of pollution. Well, Monica Rappaccini's is deforestation, which I implemented in the game by giving her wide area damage effects. Anyway, her bridge officers have super radiation, smog, toxics, and hatred. Yes, I upgraded the Borg maintenance drone prosthetic to gold because nothing says hatred quite like Borg shield neutralizer. Yes, that actually does work on NPCs. No, it's not good enough that I would want to actually use it for my actual character because, well, that's the secondary fire function and it doesn't actually do a whole lot of damage. It does, however, knock the shields off a target quite well. Then you have to kill the target with something else. I mean, she has other things to kill the target. Photon mortar, harmonic lure, and, but anyways, though, moving on. So, what does Rappaccini actually use on her build? I have a passive medical field because, quite frankly, placing those things and worrying about whether they get blown up is annoying. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could switch in the Borg vinculum thing if you have that, or what any other kind of defense you feel like using. I'm just using this one because it's easy, and this build tends to be highly mobile. Other than the Agony field generator, I do not have in this build any fabrications that are static emplacements. The Agony field generator is the only one. As you can see, my duty officers here are not actually a particularly high quality. I know. Green quality duty officers. What do you think? It would be better if I would had higher quality ones. I really should change that. I didn't actually remember that I was using green quality ones until I got ready to make this video. Actually, you know what? I could double check to see if I actually have diagnostic engineers that are better quality. Nope. Okay, this is technically a blue quality diagnostic engineer, but this is a weapons malfunction duty officer, not a equipment diagnostics one. Whatever. Anyways, how these work. Both of these duty officers, the fabrication engineer and the diagnostic engineer, affect a captain power that engineers have. This, the support drone fabrication 3. See, support drone fabrication 3 will apply equipment diagnostics to you or whoever it's targeting because it buffs allies. It's a support drone. It doesn't actually, it has a weapon that it fires sometimes, but its primary function is to buff your team. One of the things it uses is the equipment diagnostics, and that does trigger these duty officers. And the duty officers act to increase the ranged energy damage of whoever is affected by equipment diagnostics. And, this says 25% chance, but that gets applied 3 times since I have 3 of them. Actually, each of them rolls separately, so it might give me 0 or it might give me 150. it's random. And if you had better quality ones, it would make the effect stronger. Now, what this guy does, it says chance to beam in an additional support drone, but the chance is 100%. So every time I activate support drone, I actually get 2 of them. And then we have Elder Malekith. I mean, it says Space Warfare Master, but he increases my ground damage too. So yeah. Behold. Yes, I know. The tooltip says 100% chance to create a support drone 3. It actually created 3 support drones. No, I don't know why it actually created 3 support drones. The tooltips don't say it should create 3 of them. Also, remember what I said earlier about how it has a chance to roll those duty officers and give you that effect 3 times when equipment diagnostics is applied? Well, that's separately for each time you use equipment diagnostics, or when one of these drones uses equipment diagnostics. You see where this is going. A lot of buff to ranged weapon damage. Why am I focusing so much on ranged weapon damage? Well, none of the kit modules I'm using in this build have any duty officers that can affect them. So using duty officers that affect a captain power is pretty much the only option I have for using duty officers. Anyways, back to the kit modules. Obviously, I am using Mud's time device. I upgraded to Mark 13 for some reason. Or did I get it at Mark 13? I don't remember. Anyways, though, upgrading it further is kind of a waste of time because it doesn't really scale with levels, and I don't really understand why they gave it a mark in the first place, given how it scales, or rather doesn't scale. As I mentioned earlier, wide AoE damage, Agony field generated. It does quite a large amount of damage. Now, notice how it says 46.2 second recharge. The effect of Agony field generator lasts for several seconds, so, you know, kind of don't want to spam them too much. At any rate, though, with this build, I usually just activate Muds, hit the Agony field generator, and then hit the 2 buffs, and then just shoot at whatever's near me until it's time to do that again. I mean, also summon pets. Yes, I have the anaphasic thing. The Targs do better damage. I could use the Targs, but the anaphasic entity just feels more appropriate for reasons. Other things. Oh yeah, the 2 buff modules. I have Bioharmonic Emitter and Adapt. Both of these are here because of the odd way that they interact with Mud's time device. And what by odd I mean, they make things cool down faster than the 15% number would make you think they do. Like here. Activate Muds, activate Agony field generator. Now you look at the numbers. It jumped to 47% and is ticking down. Well, watch what happens on this. It immediately jumped down by 5 seconds. Wait, adapt, and that jumps down a few more seconds. Which, okay, yes, it's ended up with a cooldown after all of that was done of something like 25 seconds. But it makes it cool down a lot faster, and it also gives your team useful buffs that will make them stay alive longer in combat. Also, why am I activating Muds before dropping this? Well, activate Muds for the 100 point kit performance bonus, and then drop Agony field when you have the buff. Because, well, let's look at this here. 452 phaser damage. Note, this is scaled to level 25, 26, whatever. One of those 2 numbers. So if I was at level 65, like you would be in an elite TFO, this would be a much bigger phaser damage number. But again, this is Nimbus because I wanted to have 5 team members to, because the amount of cooldown that you get from MUDs actually scales based on your team size when you're using team buff abilities. So I wanted to demonstrate it with a full team. Yes, my bridge officers have item triples. Anyways, but yeah, it's like here. Watch, it says 452. Click this. Mouse over this again. 505. So that's like 53 points more damage. And that's at Nimbus levels and not Elite TFO levels. So pretty hefty boost just for that. Anyways, back to the actual. The kit module I'm using is a Kentari kit module. Yes, I know. People are like, but why? To be quite honest, getting one that had a K-perf bonus would actually probably be better. If you, I just wanted to try out the Radiant Field Emitter to see how that actually worked out. If you wanted to use the Risa kit frame for the massive kit performance bonus, go for it if you feel like doing it that way. Let's see here. Lucari Rapier. I have the Lucari body armor and the Lucari shield. Why? Well, one, the Lucari shield actually has a stupid high regeneration rate. Note, this is scaled to Nimbus, so it's not showing you the full numbers. But regenerates 20.7 shield capacity every 2 seconds. Not every 6 seconds, every 2 seconds. And also it has this protomatter coalescence effect that will give you shield and hit point regeneration periodically anyways. Kinetic cure for more than once every 45 seconds, whatever. Energy damage reduction, Tetrian damage reduction. No, I cannot get rid of the Tetrian damage reduction mod because you cannot re-engineer this, unfortunately. Changing that to a cap or reg mod would be much preferable to the Tet mod, but I can't do that. Here's the fun part. Bonus electrical damage and bonus outgoing healing. If you wanted to get the Lucari wrist device, you could, and use the 3-piece on that. It's not that great, but it is a 3-piece that is... If you... the weapon that I'm using is chosen specifically because of the fact that it does electrical damage. Because the whole electrical damage thing goes into the theme of deforestation, blasting things with lightning bolts. You know, how lightning locks trees over and stuff. Anyway, this boosting electrical damage does actually increase the damage the weapon does. Like here, let's watch this. 157.5. The equipped shield. Yeah. I know, it's not something that's a massive bonus, but it is useful and stacks with other things. So hey, might as well. Sompek Pulse Wave. I could use the Sompek shield, but quite frankly, for this build, the Lucari shield is far better. See, because these abilities here, having heavy shield regeneration complements them quite well. Because Bioharmonic Emitter, it gives you temporary hit points, and quite a lot of them. And if you are injured, it will actually give you hit point regeneration while the hit point buff lasts. If you take enough damage to hit points, the temporary hit points will go away. And it only lasts for 15 seconds, but, you know, it will heal you over the entire 15 seconds. If you don't take, well, in this case, almost 1,000 damage. Yeah. And that's scaled to Nimbus levels. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, when you have the kit performance bonus, it goes up even higher. Almost 1,200 on Nimbus. Anyways. Quite frankly, though, you don't need to use an electrical weapon. You can use whatever else you want. The entire reason I'm using the Emperor's Sword is because it's fun. I like to have a melee secondary because the devs of this game did actually design certain enemies so that they're easier to kill with melee attacks. I mean, if I'm fighting Borg, I could just stab them with this thing and call it good. Uh, Normal Borg and the Mirror Borg, both of them will adapt to something, Pulse Wave. Even though it's electrical damage, they still adapt to it. Why? Because logic. It's a video game. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so moving on to traits. Oh yeah, skills. Specializations. I have Temporal Operative as my primary and Pilot as secondary. Obviously, Pilot doesn't do anything on that, but I'm using Temporal Operative. Why? Well, it gives me a kit performance bonus, and you know that's useful. Dum dum dum. So, traits. I don't have any of the really snazzy traits on this character. Creative, Field Technician, Lucky, those are defaults you get automatically. Nanomolecular Architect, also a default, but engineer specific. All engineers get this, but only engineers. Penetrating rounds. Yeah, you have to get that from grinding R&D. The ground gear one, not the kits one. Shield Harmonic Resonance. I don't actually remember why I have that one. I don't think it's actually a default. Tenevix Council. That's a lockbox trait. Why do I have that? Well, the electrical scattering field effect from the weapon is actually considered to be damage over time. Because the funny thing with this weapon is that while the raw damage it doesn't necessarily seem all that good, the inductive scattering effect does almost as much damage as your actual weapon attack does. But it's a damage over time effect that only lasts for 2 seconds. But it works with the Tenevix Council thing. And I got Tenevix Council back before it became metagame stuff, so it was actually relatively cheap back when I got it. Anyway, that's enough of the traits. So, yeah, how this build plays out is mostly just throw down an Agony Field Generator and, you know, summon the 2 pets. Activate Mud's time device, and you know, so on and so forth. Basically, just activate everything and then shoot things while you wait for your abilities to cool down. Because, yeah, before the Mud's time device nerf, I was actually able to force Agony Field Generator to cool down so fast I could place one before the first one had expired. Yeah, that was excessive. After the nerf, it's still pretty fast. And the 2 abilities, the reason why I activated Bioharmonic Emitter then Adapt is that, well, Adapt cools down faster just naturally. Like, if I just activate Adapt by itself, 24 seconds. Activate Bioharmonic Emitter by itself, 30 seconds. Having Muds cool them down, you know. Oh yeah, here. Use this to cool them down. And see. Anyway, yes, I know. I actually came up with a theme build that abuses Muds. Shocking. But hey, I did it. Anyways, I think that's all I have anything here. It was something I thought was a fun idea, and actually works reasonably well in Elite TFOs. So, hey, might as well go for it. Alright, well, see you guys later.